Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. I'm going to do one last video on divisibility. Now we're going to look at a group of rules for divisibility for 3, 9, and 6, and those rules are all related as well. So let's take a look at the rule for 3. A number is divisible by 3 if the sum of the digits, which means when you add up the digits, if that sum is divisible by 3, then the whole number is divisible by 3. So in order to do this rule, you have to have some knowledge of dividing smaller numbers by 3. So let me show you what I mean. We'll start off with the example 1008. Well, what we want to do first is add up the digits. So we'll add up 1. We don't have to add up the zeros because they won't factor into the sum. 1 plus 8, and that equals 9. And now what you do is you check that sum. If that sum is divisible by 3, then the entire number is divisible by 3. So we'll do 9 divided by 3. And 3 times 3 is 9, so 9 divided by 3 equals 3. Since that digit sum is divisible by 3, 1008 will be divisible by 3. Let's look at another example. 23,345. If we want to determine if that number is divisible by 3, we add up the digits. 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Let's do some compatible pairs here. 3 and 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus that 2 is 17. So that sum is 17. And we check to see if that sum will divide by 3. Well, I know 3 times 5 is 15 and 3 times 6 is 18. So 3 will not divide into 17 evenly. There'll be a remainder. And since you can't divide that digit sum evenly by 3, this entire number is not divisible by 3. Last example, 111,303. Let's add up the digits. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3 plus 3. No need to add in the 0. It doesn't factor into the sum. So I do 1 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 3, plus 3 is 6, plus 3 is 9. So once again, we have a digit sum of 9, and we know from the first example that this will divide by 3 evenly, which means that entire number will divide evenly by 3. So that is the divisibility test for 3. You add up the digits, and if that digit sum is divisible by 3, the entire number is. Now, the divisibility rule for 9 is identical. If the sum of the digits is divisible by 9, then the number is also. So the exact same rule, except we have to divide that digit sum by 9. Let's look at the example 240. We'll add up the digits. 2 plus 4, and that equals 6. Now we check if that's divisible by 9. How many groups of 9 will fit in 6? That's what 6 divided by 9 means. You can't even fit 1 in there. It'll be 0 with a remainder of 6. Technically, this is the fraction 2/3. Regardless of how we think about it, it doesn't divide unevenly, so 240 is not divisible by 9. Let's look at another example, a 909. We want to know if that's divisible by 9. Add up the digits. We don't have to factor in the 0. 9 plus 9 is 18. Now check if that's divisible by 9. Well, I know 9 times 2 is 18. So 18 divided by 9 equals 2. Yes, since the digit sum is divisible by 9, so is the entire number. Last example, 45,999. Add up those digits. 4 plus 5 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. Well, we've got 4 plus 5 is 9. So we've got 4 groups of 9. I know 4 groups of 9 is 36. And we've just checked now to see if this number is divisible by 9. 4 groups of 9 is 36. So if we check for divisibility now, 36 divided by 9, we know there's 4 groups of 9 in 36, so 36 divided by 9 is 4. Since that digit sum divides evenly, so does the entire number. So you can see the divisibility rules for 3 and for 9 are almost identical. Last divisibility test we're going to look at is the divisibility test for 6. And the divisibility test for 6 says a number is divisible by 6 if it is divisible by both 2 and 3. So what we have to do is we have to check if it's divisible by 2, divisible by 3, and if it's divisible by both, then it's divisible by 6. Okay, so let's look at some examples. 312. Well, to check if it's divisible by 2, we check the last digit. It's even, and we know even numbers are divisible by 2, so that will be a yes. Let's check divisibility by 3. To do divisibility by 3, we have to add up the digits. 3 plus 1 plus 2. Well, that adds up to 6. And then we check if that digit sum is divisible by 3. Oops. So we'll do 6 divided by 3, and that equals 2. Since the digit sum is divisible by 2, the entire number is divisible by 3. That's a yes. And since both 312 is divisible by both 2 and 3, then it is also divisible by 6. So we can say yes. Let's check another one. 5,126. Let's check if it's divisible by 2. Well, it's even, so that's a yes. To check if it's divisible by 3, we add up the digits. 5 plus 1 plus 2 plus 6. 5 plus 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8, plus 6 is 14. And we check if that digit sum is divisible by, we check if that digit sum is divisible by 3. Well, 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 times 5 is 15. So 3 will not divide evenly into 14. That's a no. And since 5,126 is not divisible by both 2 and 3, it is not divisible by 6. Last example, 31,313. To check if it's divisible by 6, we see if it's divisible by both 2 and 3. Well, for 2, I check the last digit. It's odd, so it's not divisible by 2. And at that point, I can stop. I don't have to go any further. If it's not divisible by 2, it is not divisible by 6. All right, so that's the rules for divisibility for 3, 9, and 6. You now have a review of all the different divisibility rules. Hope that helps a bit. Flexing Teacher Weber, out.